A piano vocal score is a score that has a part for a singer or a vocalist, along with a part for a piano accompaniment. And usually a piano accompaniment is going to have two staves, one for the left hand and one for the right hand. So at all times in a piano vocal score, we're going to have three staves happening simultaneously in each staff system. So let's start by just taking a look at what I have here. I'm going to assume that I started from a lead sheet, and I've started by just copying out what I had on the lead sheet. You see here we start with a treble clef. I have next to the treble clef a key signature, followed by a time signature, 4/4. And then I have the melody and the lyrics written out here, and above the melody and the lyrics, I have the chord symbols. And I like to retain all those things, the chord symbols especially, when I'm writing out a piano vocal score. It's just very easy and can be useful for somebody who's playing. Now I'm going to make a line for the right hand of the piano, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that we're going to start in treble clef in the right hand. Once in a while we may start in the bass clef, but let's just assume we're going to start in the treble clef. Now I'm going to make a key signature. Remember, every staff needs a key signature, unless it's in the key of C. And there's no sharps and no flats. Then we're going to have a time signature. Every staff, at least at the beginning, needs a time signature. And now I'm going to write a clef in the next staff for my left hand on the piano. So we'll assume that this is starting in bass clef. Again, every staff needs a key signature if there are any sharps or flats in the key signature. And I'm going to write in my time signature. Great. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some visual marks that are going to connect these three systems. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a line. I'm going to make a line from the top of the top staff to the bottom of the bottom staff. And now that I've added that line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more thing. I'm going to add a bracket, this little curvy bracket, just to sort of visually set apart the lines of the treble clef and the bass clef of the piano. Now, throughout our piano vocal score or arrangement, whatever we're making, we never want to separate these three lines of the staff system. We never want to have like the first line on one page and the next two lines on another page. We always want to be able to see all three staves simultaneously. So let me just fill in some notes, some chords for our first measure. I'm just going to do this as simply as possible. I'm going to write an E flat chord here, just a whole note. Now remember, everything that is happening at the same time wants to be exactly vertically aligned. So if the E flat chord is happening on beat 1 of the first measure, then I want it to be completely vertically aligned with anything else that's happening on beat 1 of this measure. So the rest that is in the vocal line, I want that to be aligned with the chord in the right hand and aligned with the chord in the left hand. So now I'm going to go on to my next measure. I'm going to write a bar line here. And notice I'm writing this bar line through the two staves of the piano. I'm not writing the bar line connecting the vocal staff and the piano staff. We're going to leave that bar line blank just to give a little bit of space for the lyrics there. So let's go on to the next two chords. So we have an F minor chord. I'm going to do the F minor like this. There's a half note, and again, look at how it's vertically aligned. Everything that's happening on beat 1 in the vocal part and the piano part. It's all vertically aligned. And then my next chord is happening on beat 3. It's this B7 chord. I'm going to do this as a sort of a jazzy voicing here. Like this. And here we go. And again, notice this is happening on beat 3, and it's aligned with everything that's going on in beat 3. The G that's in the vocal line, the lyric, the chord, the left hand, the right hand. And then again, I'm going to do another bar line that's going to connect those two staves of the piano. But again, vertically aligned with what's going on in the voice. So that gives you an idea of just try to, and you can continue on this process, but that gives you sort of a basic idea of how you can set up this this physically and just in terms of notation, how you can set up this piano vocal score.